Nothing beats a walk in the park. And where better to experience nature than this wonderland nestled deep in the Pocono Mountains, named, oddly enough, Pocono Raceway, where the sounds of racing drown out the tranquility of the winter months as 43 of the fastest men on the planet try to claim the title of fastest man in Pennsylvania. When winter thaws to spring, and as summer awaits, the fans wander into this racing oddity. 3 turns? But those 3 turns mean more than just numbers, because Pocono is big and fast and can make drivers wish for a track with more turns and less hurt. So when the rhythm of the race quickens as the competition tightens and the melody meanders through another trip around this 3-sided wonder, remember that Pocono's no walk in the park. NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot, is next on Speed.
A trip to the Poconos is truly a one-of-a-kind experience at a one-of-a-kind racetrack in Long Pond, Pennsylvania. It's the Pocono Raceway, and it's Kurt Busch who comes in on a roll. After an all-star race win and a 600 win, he took all of the money out of the Charlotte Motor Speedway. But that track, usually kind to Jimmy Johnson, was not kind to the defending champion. He has dropped over 200 points in the last 4 races. But it is driver number 29, Kevin Harvick, who is still leading the championship chase, but he has some of racing's best in his rearview mirror. Guys like Kyle Busch, Matt Kenseth, and Jeff Gordon are in championship form. It is time for 500 miles of white-knuckle racing on the big triangle of Pocono. Some of the longest straightaways anywhere in racing. Just 3 turns. They are all unique, and they are all difficult. NASCAR since 1974. This place has had a flair for the unpredictable, but one thing we can tell you for sure is the Northeast has some of the best race fans in the world. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot. I'm John Roberts. He is race car driver Kenny Wallace, and you simply can't come to this area of Pennsylvania without bringing back Mr. Excitement, filling in for Kyle Petty. It's Jimmy Spencer.
It is Pocono. Yeah, man.
Hey, it is a little bit earlier than we're used to. It's a little bit chillier than we're used to, so grab your coffee, your mocha, whatever you want to get fired up, because we are in for a great day.
Kenny's had his coffee.
And I am fired up, and here's why. We are at Pocono. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has qualified 3rd. Woo! Race fans, listen to this. They call this Mount Pocono, Pocono, Long Pond straightaway, tunnel turn. Fog has canceled qualifying here. There was a drunk one time that ran across the racetrack in front of Kyle Petty, Jimmy Spencer. I think they threw the caution. Then a deer ran across the track. Neil Bonnet center punched it.
The deer was sober.
Race fans, here's the bottom line. We are at Pocono, and there is no other track like this. Spence, I'm sorry. I know this is your hometown.
I love Pocono, baby. It's great to be home, and I'll tell you the thing that I like about Pocono. This is a very unique racetrack. The drivers will all tell you that. It's the longest oval that we go on. It's some 54, 55 seconds when the race starts and as they progress. The key here, no problems on pit road, but a lot of pit stops today. A lot of action, Johnny, will take place today at Pocono. A lot of guys need to turn their season around. Not many races to go to the chase. And it is time to get out of the champagne glass-shaped hot tub and get to the racetrack, because we got 500 miles in front of us. And to bring us more from the garage area up high above Victory Lane, let's now go to Wendy Venturini and Hermie Sadler. Guys?
Thank you, Johnny. Good morning to you guys. Yes, we're located on the 2nd level of Victory Lane, behind it where Victory Lane will take place later on. Hermie Sadler, I looked it up yesterday. I've been coming to this racetrack for 27 years. My dad raced here in the first ARCA race in 1983. It's been a long time. It's one of my favorite places.
Well, it is a great place to come, and no question about it. Jimmy Spencer said it. We're halfway through. Only 13 races to go to see who gets in and gets out. We've got a very tight points race, Wendy. Today is a very important race.
And it wouldn't be Pocono unless we had some rain today. Check out the weather for today. Unfortunately, there is some weather forecasted later on, but hopefully we'll get this race about 90% at 3 o'clock, which means we could get this race underway. Hermie, things are looking positive for us.
Well, you know, either way, rain or no rain, there will be a significant difference in temperature on the racetrack between when we practiced yesterday and today. But it was supposed to rain yesterday, and it didn't, so maybe we'll get 500 miles in today at Pocono.
Well, a lot can happen today, but we know coming in today, Kevin Harvick is still our points leader, has 29 points, 29 car over Kyle Busch.
Yeah, and look at the fourth place driver, Jeff Gordon. He gained 2 spots after Charlotte, and Kurt Busch, with his big win at Charlotte, picks up 3 spots win. He's now 6th.
And Ryan Newman moved up to the top 12 after his 9th place finish at Charlotte. We will hear from Ryan Newman later on in the show.
Yeah, Clint Boyer gained 2 spots. Martin Truex Jr. lost 2 spots. Jamie McMurray continues his hot streak. He's up to 15th.
And even though Dale Earnhardt Jr. fell 1 spot, he did qualify 3rd, so we know he has a strong car for today. One guy that we'll be watching, of course, is Jimmy Johnson. People want to say Jimmy Johnson's in a slump. Poor qualifying effort, Hermie, but he was 2nd in happy hour.
Yeah, he qualified 25th, which, you know, is not typical Jimmy Johnson type statistics. So we'll definitely keep an eye on him today and see how quickly he can make his way to the front. But he did rebound with a fast car in happy hour, so we'll see how the 48 maneuvers that traffic to get to the front.
Now they call this place the Tricky Triangle. Of course, there's only 3 turns here. It's 2.5 miles, which makes it very unique because you got to get your car working in all 3 turns, and you got to have a lot of horsepower.
Well, you got to have the complete package, Wendy, and later today on the show, I'm going to go on the racetrack and talk about all 3 of these corners individually, but you've got to have a good motor, a good car, and momentum plays such a key here. And Jimmy Spencer, you're the hometown guy here, had a lot of success at this racetrack. Tell us more about why Pocono is such a difficult place to get around.
Well, Hermie, I'll tell you, the biggest thing about Pocono is it's so long, the straightaways are so long that drivers can very easily lose focus. Pocono is very challenging. Jeff Gordon very good here. Reason why, I think he keeps his focus and he can adjust his car. Think back, Tony Stewart won this race last year. Very challenging track. Tony Stewart steps up to the plate. Another guy, Juan Pablo, loves these challenging racetracks. I think that these guys could have a good day today. And the reason being Pocono, 3 different corners. There's no way that a driver or a crew member could get their car perfect at this racetrack. That's the biggest thing, Johnny. All day long, they're going to be chasing. Hermie brought a great point up. Yesterday, 80, 90 degrees. Today, overcast, cloudy. Big difference, a lot more speed.
Now, if you believe Simply Statistics says that 70% of the winners here have started in the top 10. But let's remember that Tony Stewart got in a backup car last year, started the back of the pack, and won. Denny Hamlin spun into the infield grass and still won.
Well, Pocono, as Jimmy said, is very challenging. But one thing I'm looking at right now, race fans, this is race 14. We're halfway through the championship. We sit here and go, oh, we're only 14 races in here. 26 races, and then we decide who's in the chase for the championship. No problems today. I mean, hey, there's not going to be a deer jumping out in front of the racetrack because Pocono put a fence on the back straightaway. So we eliminate
Quit picking on Pocono!
We eliminate the eliminate the deer. Any of your drunk buddies going to go across the racetrack?
Oh, man, we're at Pocono. I can't guarantee that.
Well, anything can and will happen at Pocono. We will see that later on. But when we come back to NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot, he dominated Charlotte, and he also dominated the last time he won here. When we come back, driver number 2 joins us.
The Blue Deuce blew the boys away in the CLT. And there's no better way to celebrate a 2-week circuit smackdown than with a little race day recap. We'll show you how Captain Kurt beamed his way up to 2 victory lanes in Carolina. Around the turn, NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot.
NASCAR Race Day is built by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. And brought to you in part by the General Automobile Insurance Services. For the best car insurance rates in town, call 1-800-GENERAL now.
Dominance. That's the key word for Kurt Busch. Last time he won here at Pocono, he led over 150 laps. And he took 2 trophies out of Charlotte in dominating fashion.
2-car was wearing the wall out there that time.
No
he got
question,
the whole
he got
right
it
side.
that time.
I stepped over the line and rubbed the fence. You know, the car got so tight on me, I couldn't understand it. It was very confusing to me at that time and frustrating as well. And when we got back in for the 10-minute break, I told Addington, I said, hey man, you just free this thing up. Just loosen it up, do whatever you want, and I'll drive the wheels off it. I just don't want to be tight.
Hamlin is good on the bottom, but that 18 is good on the top, and he blocks him. Oh, he put a block on him in the wall. He put him in the wall.
He'll lose second, third, and he may lose fourth. And here's the battle for the lead. Hamlin
Hamlin's way up against the wall. Kurt Busch to the inside. Kurt Busch to the lead on 4.
Kyle lost all his momentum. I was able to get to the inside of Denny and race him down into turn 3, and I said, this is the moment. It's buried in there. Step on the gas early. This bad boy sticks. You're gonna have a good shot at winning this.
He's come close before. Runner-up back in 2003. Tonight, though, he will win the NASCAR Sprint All-Star Race. Kurt Busch gets the victory and $1 million.
You know, we've been hot, we've been cold this year, but tonight we were perfect when we needed to be, and I have all of their gratitude and all of the people to thank from the team. It's a full-fledged effort. To stand there and get that big, huge bottle of champagne, the only one we want to have like that is when I won the 2004 championship.
A special salute to all of the men and women who have ever served this country and worn our uniform proudly. It's because of you that we're able to celebrate here today with the Coca-Cola 600.
Awesome work, man. Awesome work. Hit your marks here. Drive away. 2-liter, boys, for 2.
Let's unload where we think we need to be in the daytime in the heat of the day, and we know where we can get back to where we were the other night. And that's what we did. And it's kind of like, stick to this game plan. When you hit on something for a race being ending at night, you just got to take your lumps and bruises or whatever you want to call it during the day to get to nighttime.
As we go forward into the night here in Charlotte.
And as the track improves and the speeds pick up, guess what? The car is harder to drive.
You free it up a little bit. Put right sides on there and pumped them up and left the right front down a little bit. I didn't mess with wedge or anything. 10-4, buddy. You did about the best job you could have done. Appreciate it, guys. You too.
Here's Jamie Mack, and he is the new leader.
He was pretty quick through the middle of the run, a little bit faster than us through the middle of the run, and then we level off. It was like the track position was the big key.
We've got Marcus Ambrose who's sliding, spinning, slamming the inside retaining wall, and I'm 2/3 of the way down to the backstretch.
Go on some right sides, Davey. I think that'll help us. No way we can stay out.
And I knew that pit stop was going to be so big, and I knew they were coming for 2, we were coming for 2, and whoever won that race off pit road was going to win the Coke 600 this year.
Bring it for right side tires. 10-4, let's pit for right sides. Let's do it.
Watching the work here, 2 tires going on the right-hand side of the Blue Deuce, and he's gone. Really great stop for those guys. The 2-car Kurt Busch, Matt Kenseth in the 17, they beat that 1 car off pit road that time.
Awesome work. Somebody better get the brooms out, because we just made a clean sweep of their checkbook, boys, 2 weeks in a row. That way, Kurt Busch.
They come so close to the All-Star race, like I said last week, a couple of times with Kyle, and not finish it off in the last segment. To get that done and to do it with Kurt and to come back here the following week and win the 600 is just totally awesome. And to win it for him and let him get the media attention that he deserves, because he deserves it. He's an awesome race car driver.
And what a great 2 weeks it was at Charlotte Motor Speedway for Kurt Busch and team. We did this last week, had you on race day. You won the race. Let's do this again. Can you back it up for another win here at Pocono?
I'm feeling the vibe. I mean, it was an exciting couple of weeks in Charlotte, and just the All-Star, the 600, and to do it for Penske Racing, to get Roger his first 600. It's really a special feeling, and then working with Steve Addington and feeling a good groove now with our car. Here we are. We're in the summer months now. We go into Pocono, Michigan. It's a good car right now, but we'll have to fight harder today because it's not quite the fastest car.
Well, you're 6 in points right now, qualified 4th. The big thing is you've got 2 wins when you come down to the chase, those bonus points. Do you already start thinking about, at this point in the season, wins and getting every 10 points you can before you head to the chase?
Yes and no. I think the smartest thing to do is just approach each week like, hey, we've got this racetrack. What can we do to make our car better? Learn more about our package and just continue to make the team stronger as we lead up to the chase. The chase isn't a given, though. We have to work our way in there.
We'll talk about a little bit about Steve Addington. He's going to be coming up next with Wendy, but what an impact he's had on your team. It seems like everything is clicking, and you guys seem to have a lot of confidence in each other right now.
Yeah, he helps me a ton with just bolting something on the car, and I understand enough about it to where I've got the confidence to go and hammer down. You know, when you're out there trying out a new setup, sometimes you're a bit tentative with it. This deal, it's given me the confidence to go and hammer down. His pit calls are great. His ability to work with our guys and then everybody back at the race shop as well. He's a great manager of many different areas of our race team, and he's a leader when he's on top of that pit box too.
Well, last week was definitely a complete team effort. Kurt did a job on the racetrack, and that pit crew nailed that last pit stop and got him where he needed to be. And the leader of that bunch is Steve Addington, and he's with Wendy.
Thank you, Hermie. Yes, the leader of the pack. And Steve, Kurt was just saying how fabulous of a crew chief and a leader that you are. How good does it make you feel coming into 2010 and having this success right off the bat with Kurt?
It's been awesome. It's been awesome the way this race team and the guys on the race team have came together and got behind me and got behind Dave Winston and our decisions of what we're doing on the race cars. So it's all coming together, and I like Kurt's focus on he's trying to give us great feedback to help us out to make better decisions on race day.
Now here we are, we're halfway to the chase, so we still have a lot of racing to go. What does that mean for you, Steve? How are you assessing what you guys have to do still?
Well, we've got to just keep building upon where we've ran good and bring it to different racetracks and build consistency. We need top 5s and top 10s on a consistent basis these last 13 races to end up, because there's a lot of great teams here and there's a lot of fast race cars. So we've just got to be consistent. That's where we've struggled this year.
All right, well, good luck to you guys today. Steve Addington, 2 wins with Kurt Busch, plus the All-Star win. Can't forget about that. Johnny?
Wendy, thanks a lot. Now, clearly, crew chief Steve Addington is the proverbial rug that ties the whole room together. Now they got the whole group working on the same page. And the question now is, can they win the championship? And I think the obvious answer is yes.
Well, they can definitely win the championship. But let's break this down and say, okay, what's going on with Kurt Busch? Why is the whole Penske organization so much better? Inside the garage area, what I'm hearing is that Steve Addington, who was Kyle Busch's crew chief last year, has brought over some of that Gibbs knowledge. People tell me inside the Penske organization, all the Penske cars, for example, Daytona, Talladega, they're riding lower. So Steve Addington is bringing over knowledge. But Spence, I'm hearing about this guy named Dave Winston, and we're hearing that from Kurt Busch in Victory Lane last week.
The thing, I think they can win the championship. And, you know, last year I had commented about Steve Addington. I talked to him this week, and I took water on it, so to speak, and I told him how great a job he's doing, and he is closing the deal. But the key to that whole team is Kurt Busch, and I want to say desire. You know, I learned a long time ago, an older fella told me, show me a good loser, I'll show you a loser. That's the thing about Kurt Busch. He's not a good loser. He's got the desire that he wants to win another championship. The thing that I think Steve Addington has done for him is Steve Addington has given him the confidence. He can really relate to him. You're right about this Dave Winston guy. You heard Steve and them say that they're going in this direction. Kurt believes in it. And Kurt said it best. He says, if I could bury this baby down in there to Charlotte, Kenny, think what he said. He said, if I bury this baby down in there, I have a chance of winning. You can't take that away from a team. When you can do that, you are a factor in this championship.
And one of the last pieces of the puzzle inside the garage area that a lot of people don't talk about is a driver, a crew chief, and a hidden hero. He's called the team engineer. The team engineer goes, what did Kurt say? Kurt said the car's loose. And Steve Addington, Dave Winston now decide what to do. 3 people now are making these teams winner. That seems to be what's going on inside the garage area.
And think about this, Johnny. Hermie just hit on it. Think about how quick that pit stop was. They knew they needed to bust a pit stop. They did. They won the Coke 600 for Penske team.
And it is definitely a team sport. When we come back, one member of our team is going to take you to where the rubber hits the road, down on the surface at the Pocono Raceway, and show us exactly what is so unique about this. But tomorrow night, get your NASCAR fix with NASCAR Race Hub. Get the latest NASCAR news and information, and hear straight from the drivers and crew chiefs when they stop by the garage to hang out and talk racing. NASCAR Race Hub, presented by Hooters. Legendary athlete Jim Thorpe is buried in Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania, a town he may never even have visited, although he attended school nearby. Now, before renaming itself Jim Thorpe, the town of Mauchchunk, Pennsylvania, realized it needed a tourist attraction, so the town asked the Thorpe family for Jim's body with the stipulation that they would rename the town after the famous athlete. So there is the monument to Jim Thorpe in none other than Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania. So we bet that's something that you didn't know before watching race day this morning. Welcome back to the Pocono Raceway, everyone. This very unique racetrack has 3 turns. Each of the 3 turns is modeled after a turn at a different racetrack around the country. But now Hermie Sadler takes us through these 3 turns and tells us exactly what is so unique and difficult about them.
When we come to Pocono, we talk about the tricky triangle. 3 corners, 3 completely different corners, and talk about how it's difficult for the drivers and crew chiefs to maneuver these corners, get the car to set up to get speed, handling, and being able to pass on all 3 corners. So today, let's talk about those corners in terms of importance as far as speed and passing. Right now, I'm in turn 2, also known as the tunnel turn. Now, you won't see a lot of side-by-side racing during the course of the race here. Let me tell you why. Coming off this back straightaway, the Long Pond straightaway, over 3,000 feet of straightaway, a lot of speed into a very sharp corner. What you want to be able to do is get off early, get your car set, get right to this curbing, and carry a lot of speed through the middle of this corner onto the short stretch, headed to turn 3. Now on restarts, especially at the end of the race, guys got to be careful running too wide through here, because that's when business will pick up in the tunnel turn. But for the most part, you want to get through here and just not kill your lap. I'm currently standing in turn 3, the turn that leads to 3,700 feet of straightaway here at Pocono, the longest straightaway in NASCAR. Now, for years, the drivers and crew chiefs always viewed turns 3 as the most important corner on the racetrack, because it does lead to that long straightaway, and it's always been a great zone for passing if you get your car to mark right here at the bottom of the racetrack. But a couple years ago, the racetrack came in and put a patch of asphalt at the top of turn 3 right around the outside. And what did the drivers do? They started going to this new patch of pavement for grip and additional speed. But also at the same time, it made it a more difficult area to pass, because going around the bottom of this racetrack was not necessarily the fastest way around because of the grip you could get up top. So turn 3 now is more about getting your car into the corner, get it rotated, get on the gas as fast as you can to get a solid run off of turn 3 onto this long straightaway. To me, the most important corner on this racetrack today is turn 1. I'll tell you why. The tunnel turn, 8 degrees. Turn 3, 6 degrees. Very smooth, flat portions of this racetrack. You can get the car to travel, ride the pavement, and get good downforce and get the car to turn. The problem you have is when you enter turn 1, you're coming down over 3,700 feet of straightaway, over 200 miles an hour, heavy braking into this corner that has a lot of dips and waves in the pavement. Very important to keep the nose of this car off the racetrack in this corner. If the car or the splitter bottoms out on the racetrack, you slide up the racetrack and you lose a lot of speed off of turn 1 down towards the tunnel turn. So keep your eyes open today for cars that can rotate the middle of 1 and 2, get underneath the car coming off turn 1, and make a pass before they get to the tunnel turn.
Hermie, thanks a lot. Jimmy, you made the point earlier in the show that this track has such long straightaways. Matter of fact, you can take the whole racetrack at Bristol, stretch it out, and it still won't reach the whole length of the Long Pond straightaway, but that gives a driver time to lose focus in such a long straightaway.
And the thing, Johnny, Hermie hit it best about the bottlenecks. You know, I agree with Hermie. Turn 1 is, to me, most critical. And the reason why, especially on restarts, what you'll see is these drivers are all coming in here. And what happens, if you time it right, as you start to exit the turn and hit to this straightaway, you'll see them get 2 and 3 wide. And the reason why, they killed their momentum. And in turn, all at once, you'll see these guys break out to 3 wide racing, heading in to the tunnel turn. Hermie said it best. You've got to get single file. If you stay double file, you know what happens? You end up on the short chute. Now you got double file. Here's another guy comes 3 wide. That's what makes this track unique, Kenny.
Race fans, the most dangerous corner in all of racing, the tunnel turn. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but this is where Bobby Allison lost his career. That was it. We've seen so many wrecks in this tunnel turn right here. Okay, look here. There's only room for 1 car. If you run through there too wide, if you run through the tunnel turn too wide, you will slow up almost 1 second. The tunnel turn, that's where all the wrecks happen, and it's a tough corner.
Well, Jimmy Johnson has had success on this racetrack, and he needs some right now. He has faded a little bit lately in the points and had more DNFs this season than he had in the last 2 seasons combined. But let's now go to crew chief, the Chad Knaus, for our Sunoco pit strategy of the week.
Crew chiefs, engineers, and the engine tuners are definitely going to earn their keep this weekend here at Pocono, Pennsylvania. It's a 2.5-mile road course. No, it's a 2.5-mile oval. Who knows? I'll tell you what, it's an oval. That's how we run it, but a lot of guys treat it like a road course. When we get to the road courses, just like here at Pocono, you work your fuel mileage from the end of the race towards the front of the race, just to try to get in that fuel window and try to pit as early as possible to maintain that track position. You're going to see a lot of guys take 2 tires. You're going to see a lot of different scenarios play out. You can go about 33 laps on a Sunoco fuel run, but you're going to really get the interesting effect when you see guys start to pull out of the pack and pit under green and not lose a lap just to try to get that track position. It's very exciting. It's very interesting. It's a very difficult racetrack on the mechanical aspect of the cars. The drivers really have to be up on the wheel and really pay attention to what the car is doing. Turn 1 is very high bank. The other 2 corners are relatively flat. It's a difficult racetrack, but one thing I can promise you, it's going to be a good one. It's a very exciting race and honestly one of my favorite racetracks.
Chad, thanks a lot. Now, race fans, you can be sure to get your checkered flag. All you got to do is go to the speedtv.com, keyword Sunoco, and after every race on NASCAR Victory Lane, presented by, brought to you, fueled by Sunoco, rather, you can get your speed flag signed by the winner of today's race. The job of the crew chief has become more and more difficult over the years. You're part head coach, part psychiatrist, and part-time meteorologist, and Wendy is standing by with the crew chief of car number 5. Wendy?
I sure am, Johnny. I'm with Alan Gustafson, and you were just checking out the weather. John just said you have to be part meteorologist. So how does this play into how you want your strategy to work out for today, knowing we have rain coming at some point?
It makes it difficult, and I've usually gotten burned when I've tried to play a meteorologist, but it looks like the rain's definitely coming. You know, when it comes and how it affects the start of the race, I think it's up to interpretation right now. But the key is to have a fast car, and I think that usually makes a lot of that stuff easy, and or easier, I should say, and then make the right decision on the rain. You know, and sometimes we saw Ruben win the 600 last year by making a good call in the rain. And Stevie actually won a race here a couple years ago doing the same thing, because I think we had a shot at winning it, and he won it from the rain, so staying out. But yeah, it makes it a little tougher, but we'll pay attention to it and try to do our best.
You guys are coming off the top 10 finish back at Charlotte. You have momentum on your side. We're halfway through the chase. How important is it to have that momentum for the second half of the chase, going into the chase?
Huge. I think this summer, you know, you really see the marquee teams rise to the top during the summer swing and really prepare themselves to compete at a high level in the chase. So I think this is that summer stretch, and this is really after Charlotte is when it starts going, and we're into it now. And we've got to go. You know, this is when you've got to be on top of your game, and you've got to have that momentum, and you've got to continue to grind out those top 5 finishes every week.
All right. Well, good luck forecasting the weather and making those calls today. They have moved up to 10th in the points. Hermie?
Well, thank you, and I want to catch up with Dave Rogers. Interesting couple of weeks for you guys, and want to go back and put a period on last week. Unfortunately, the stuff on pit road after the race really overshadowed a great comeback for your team last week. You guys were out of it at one point and came back for a solid top 5 finish.
Yeah, last week was a solid run for this M&M's Toyota Camry. Real proud of all the guys going over the wall and fixing that car, and you know, real proud of Kyle for staying in and keeping us in it and giving us time to fix the car. Apologize to Jeff Burton. You know, I don't think Kyle did anything wrong. We made repairs, and we had some jagged edges on that right front fender. Kyle didn't know about it. I didn't know about it, and we got into Burton. Apologize there. It was a racing incident, and you know, I respect Jeff, and Kyle respects Jeff, and I trust that it's over. You know, let's race Pocono.
And talk about Pocono. I'm interested to get your take. Kyle did not go to Nashville to run the Nationwide Series race last night for a number of reasons, but from the outside looking in, it shows that you guys are 100% in on this Sprint Cup season this year, up in the top of the points, 2 wins already. What's your thoughts on Kyle staying in Pocono, and what does that say about his intentions this year?
Well, I really appreciate it. You know, the fun part about this season so far is we're becoming family, and Kyle's such an integral part of it. It's not a driver comes in on Sunday and races your race car. It's one big happy group. And Kyle made that decision on his own to not go there, to concentrate on Pocono, because this hasn't been one of his tracks. So I think it shows a lot of dedication on his behalf, and all the guys on the team are very excited that he made that decision. He did the same thing for us at Martinsville, and we had a solid run there. So I think it shows a lot of dedication on Kyle's behalf.
Well, these guys are really on a roll right now. A lot of things clicking well for this 18 team. But, JR, what a great comeback last week. That's what championship seasons are made of. When you take a potentially bad night and turn it into a top 5 finish, that's when you know things are going well.
Yeah, that's right, Hermie. And no one but Kyle Busch knows exactly what's going on inside his mind. But a lot of people who know Kyle are saying that he's doing things this year that are making him look much more like a championship contender. Is that what you guys think?
Without a question, I think last week proved to me, without a doubt, my opinion, Kyle Busch is ready to win the championship. Hermie, you said it best. When you take a car, you get wrecked on pit road. Last year, Kyle Busch would have flew off the handle. But with Dave Rogers in control now of him, they're getting along fantastic. Steve Addington, along with Kurt Busch, same scenario, getting along fantastic. There's a lot to be said about that. Kept him calm. They battled back Kenny to finish third. To me, that is a pivotal point in a guy's career when he changes. He also made a decision not to go to the nationwide race. I think he's ready.
Well, I'm a nationwide driver, and I think Kyle Busch's intentions on not running the nationwide series was great. He would have got to bed at 3 this morning. That's when I got to bed, so that's a true figure. He would have had to sleep in. But here's the deal. To win the nationwide championship for a driver like him means nothing anymore. Sometimes when people win the championship in the nationwide, it's only racing 2 or 3 drivers. So good call. He's already won the nationwide championship. He's a winner. Nothing to prove by running all and back and forth across the United States to run the nationwide series. He wants to become a Cup champion.
And you know the thing, fans, that I noticed difference. He's 326 points ahead of 13th place. Last year, he was nowhere near that. In fact, last year, he missed the chase. So big difference, Johnny.
Big difference in Kyle Busch, and right now we're seeing it on the racetrack, and he could be a contender here today. He will start from the pole. And when we come back to NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot, there was a big swap at Red Bull Racing. We'll tell you who's going where and what it might mean for the future of that team that contended for a championship last year. Stay with us. Welcome back, everyone, to NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot, coming to you from the Pocono Raceway off the track this week. It was Red Bull Racing that made the biggest move by swapping crew chiefs on their 2 teams. Wendy Venturini is standing by with one of the principals of that swap to see what it means to this race team. Wendy?
Thank you, Johnny, and that is with crew chief Jimmy Elledge, who is now with Casey Mears and the 83 car. But this is not a first-time match because you and Casey worked from 2003 to 2005 in the Cup Series. So was that the smart choice or obvious choice for you guys to get back together?
I guess so. I guess it was the choice. So, no, it's all good. I mean, yeah, we had done some stuff in the past, and so reunion tour, I guess, a little bit going on here. And I guess we got our first pole here at Pocono, so first race in the COT, so tell Kenny Wallace, you never know. Worked with him before, too.
And that says a lot. So what do you and Casey work on right away? I mean, you guys probably had a couple days in the shop before this change happened. You get here in Pocono. It's a busy weekend at the racetrack. How do you guys get off to such a quick start? Because it really is in your face.
Yeah, it happens quickly, but you know, the biggest thing was just trying to learn what balance that, you know, he needs in a COT car. I mean, we think we pretty much had him figured out in, you know, the old style cars. But you know, understanding what he wants, but you know, kind of understanding, you know, his communication and how he talks and stuff is, you know, can be overwhelming when you go to a new driver, and understanding what's extreme and what they need. And I guess that I kind of understand that a little bit still. Seems to be fairly smooth on that end of it, but we're just, you know, trying to search for that balance that, you know, he's going to need to go fast with a COT car.
All right, so tell me, what's the goal for the team? I mean, you and Casey back together in the 83 car. It's a change for you, change for everybody. What kind of goals do you set now?
Well, we got a lot of work to do. We got to get both of our cars, you know, both of 82 and 83 running competitive week in and week out. So, you know, the goals are the same. We just got to continue to make progress, and we got to address the problems that we have and get them fixed quickly, and get these cars performing up front week in and week out, and win some races, win some poles, and, you know, win some money, get some trophies.
And I'm sure that would be nice. All right, well, good luck to Jimmy Elledge. Of course, Jimmy and Casey, when they raced here in Pocono last time, it was 2004. They finished 10th that year, so good thing going possibly for Team Red Bull. Johnny?
Wendy, thanks a lot, and best of luck to that group. You know, when you look at that team, they were in championship contention last year. They made the chase. Then Scott Speed got off to a great start this year, along with Brian Vickers. And then, you know, devastating news that Brian can't drive anymore. To make a crew chief swap like this right now, really, nowhere else they could go but up.
I feel very strongly that I have to point out that, first of all, I love Red Bull Racing. It is a great organization. We want to see them succeed. But this is all timing, okay? Brian Vickers, let's not get lost in all this. Brian Vickers was kind of, you know, he wasn't running real great here at the start of this year. This crew chief change is good. And let me tell you why. Nobody's being fired. Jimmy and Ryan, they should all be happy. Just like Richard Childress Racing has been doing over the last 5 years. Nobody's being fired. Let's mix it up. Jimmy Elledge, I was his very first driver as a crew chief. He's full of energy. I love him to death. But Spence, you know, this is not because Brian Vickers, you know, is injured. Brian Vickers was not performing very good at the start of this year either.
No, and I agree with you, Kenny. The thing is that, Johnny, you ran a good point up where Scott Speed was doing really well, and they seemed to slip back. And there's nothing wrong with crew chief changes. And I'm like you, Kenny. I agree. There's nobody being fired. What they're looking for is some success. This is a great organization. A lot of great people working, and it's a great sponsor. But they do need to get some results. The thing that I like about Red Bull is they are committed to this thing. And by them making this change, it's to better the organization, better the company. To me, I think it's going to be good results. It's going to be good for our sport. And that to me is very important in this time in the economy. We need Red Bull to be successful. We all seen crew chief changes in the past. Some not work, some work. This could work for the betterment of both teams.
And sometimes you're a victim of your own success. If a team is used to being a championship contender in the top 12, that's exactly where you want to be. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from the weekend, actually from some other racing series. Jimmy Johnson qualified his race car back in 25th on Friday, then took off up to Watkins Glen to participate in Rolex Sports Car Series racing. He made it up there in time for practice. Of course, we're not too far from Watkins Glen. And then he got out on the track and ran that sports car, and he did it very well.
Great racing, Johnny. You know, this series, I love this series. And I don't blame Jimmy. This is a neat series. It's fun to race him. I've talked to Terry Labonte, Bobby Labonte, Tony Stewart. This is a lot of fun. And, you know, they come on here and had a good day. They finished 6th.
And I think it's important to say this. Jimmy Johnson did not put all this effort in just for the heck of it. He was there because he loves these race cars.
Oh, look at that. Scott Pruitt again. Imagine that. That's one of the most successful road races there is, and that Ganassi team wins again.
And one of the true good guys in all of racing, Scott Pruitt. Now let's take a look at the Nationwide Series as they ran. Kenny Wallace was part of this race. And Kenny, from your viewpoint, and I think everybody else's, this was just all about BK22, Brad Keselowski.
Well, I thought Carl Edwards was going to win the race, but BK Broiler, Brad Keselowski. Man, that old car.
Hey, don't smash that guitar. You get okay. Good.
He did a good job. This kid is underestimated. He's a really smart driver, and he deserved to win.
One of my favorite tracks, Texas, baby. Now here at Hornaday and Todd Bodine on the restart, something happened there to Hornaday's truck, but I still don't think he had enough for Todd Bodine. And this is a long dry spell for Todd Bodine. This was a year in the making, so he finally won the truck race, and who knows, could catapult him into the chase.
And we have to point out that 55-year-old Kenny Schrader finished 5th. Yay for Schrader.
All right, way to go for the 55-year-old guys. Let's take a look at the championship standings. After 8 of their 25 races, it's Todd Bodine in the lead. Eric Almirola. Got some news about Eric coming out a little bit later in the show as well. He is 65 points out, and also Timothy Peters, Ron Hornaday, and Johnny Sauter find themselves in the top 5 in points. Ricky Carmichael in the top 10.
Yeah, Ricky Carmichael was having a great run and had a tire problem, and boy, thank goodness for the softer wall, safer barriers. He didn't get hurt, so he'll be back.
Saturday, the world's toughest trucks head to Michigan, where bragging rights are on the line, because whether you're for Chevy, Ford, or Toyota, only one can claim victory. Don't miss the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series live from Michigan Saturday at 1:30 Eastern, only on Speed. There is a lot of beautiful scenery around this Pocono Raceway, and one of them is Lehigh Gorge State Park. It stretches along the Lehigh River, and the primary recreational activity there is whitewater rafting, kayaking, and canoeing. It was once the center of the development of coal mining in the economy of northern Pennsylvania.
Look at Kenny Wallace. He's back here. He's cheating. Watch him. He reaches in and gets a bucket of water. Kenny, why were you doing that to this people? That's not fair. They're shooting water guns, and there you are.
Look how white my skin is.
You must have taught that kid how to take an advantage.
It is time now for our Sunoco Performance Picks, and you know, I don't really want to bring this up, but guess who's in first place right now? I don't know how it worked, man. I just want to thank the boys back in the shop, running real good right now. Just happy to be in first place, want to stay there.
So who's your pick for today?
Okay, let's get into that. Since I am in the #1 position and you want to finish P1, there's nobody better. There's nobody better than the guy who won the first race of the season. #1, Jamie McMurray. He's a good road course racer. You got to be a good road course racer to drive here. Earnhart Ganassi is doing great right now. There's Jamie. See, he's going to win this thing, bring it home for us, and we will stay in first place and defeat the evil Wendy Venturini.
Oh, evil? Come on, Johnny. All right.
I'm just kidding, Wendy.
I know. The car I'm picking today has 3 DNFs this year. Last 5 races, average finish of 26th, and he qualified 25th today. Who am I picking? Yes, it's our 4-time champion, Jimmy Johnson. And that's who I'm going with. He was 2nd in Happy Hour. Don't be alarmed with his qualifying effort. I think he's going to get the job done and possibly pass Johnny Roberts. Now picking for Kyle Petty today, our very own Jimmy Spencer.
Oh, my buddy Kyle Petty. But you know, my pick here, Kyle, I'm going to tell you. 6 of the last 9 races have been won from the front row. And this guy doesn't really like Pocono, but he is a changed driver this year. Here, Dave Rogers say he stayed home here to focus on Pocono. And his sponsor's right down the street here, the M&Ms, and I love M&Ms. And Kyle Busch is going to kick some tail today. 18 car, the M&Ms car, no question in my mind. They're going to put all those M&Ms out front. They're going to be going, bye-bye, Kenny.
And let me, he's bringing it over to me. This is a very serious situation. I'm trying to think who is going to win this race today. So I go to a driver that has dominated and swept all the races here. Denny Hamlin will win the race today, race fans. And for the first time this year, I get to say, Hermie, you're next, Hermie.
I'm going to file a grievance that these points should be inverted here at Pocono. But look, let's get right down to it. I'm taking Jeff Burton. The only thing right now that Jeff Burton does not have going for him is the fact that he's a Duke fan. But listen, he's got a fast race car. He's a determined driver, and he will get the job done today. And look, the Sunoco fuel that will fuel my driver today, Jeff Burton will go to victory lane at Pocono and get me out of the cellar. JR?
Hermie, you got a long way to go to get out of the cellar, and the only reason I can say that is because I'm not there anymore. But anyway, there are your Sunoco performance picks, and we want to remind you that race fans, you can have an official Sunoco racing fuel can. You can actually get one for either side of your fireplace in your family room if you win twice. Visit speedtv.com Sunoco for entry details, official rules, and drawing dates. And stick with us right here. Race day will be back. Welcome back to Race Day, everyone. How would you like to have a shot at your share of $1 million? Yes, it is $1 million event on July 15th through the 17th at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Visit uslegendcars.com for more information. Now, everybody likes a little booty on a Sunday morning, right?
Oh, yeah, baby.
Yeah.
You can never go wrong with
Get your
booty.
mind out of the gutter.
like it at night, too.
I'm talking about Booty Barker, guys.
I knew Booty Barker.
Talking about
Good
Booty
man.
Barker, his number 13 car driven by Max Pappas, qualified P20, and that's the highest of any go or go home cars. And now Booty explains gears at the Pocono Raceway.
As y'all well know, NASCAR has rules for everything, and we're going to focus on the gear rule this week and try to explain it a bit. Just like the rest of them, I can't stand it, but every week we come in, they enforce it, and we're going to show you how. So what NASCAR is going to do to make sure you have the correct gears is they're going to put a counter on this rear end right here at the hub. It's an electric sensor, and then they're going to put a counter as well at the engine. What they're going to do is spin the engine over, and they're going to check the ratio of how many times the engine turns over to how many times the rear end turns over. And it better be to whatever spec the 2 gear ratios you're allowed at any track we go to. It can vary each week, but they know what it needs to be, and they're going to know what you have. And you better be, at Pocono, either a 380 or a 389, or you're in deep trouble. So why would NASCAR institute a gear rule anyway? Well, the main reason is cost. Well, what they've done is they've essentially made us run taller gears. In other words, the engine won't spin as many RPMs. It costs a lot for R&D. It also makes it very expensive on parts. So this was their main reasoning in mandating a gear rule for each track, was to keep the RPMs at a maximum of, let's say, 96, 9700. That's how they made their decisions. But to give you some insight in our minds, why would we want to turn all this RPM in the first place? Well, essentially the engine runs better with more RPM. It becomes more efficient and you can make more power. You lose torque though, but as I was talking about, you lose torque, you just put a bigger gear in the back, that acts as a gear multiplier, you get all that back. So it's a win-win situation. But as I said, NASCAR won't let us run that. So, NASCAR coming here to Pocono kind of put itself in a conundrum. What happens is, a few weeks back, they had our big gear, the one with the most RPM, being a 380. Well, the problem is, with that 380, with the new blade rule, the car has so much drag that the peak RPM would be, let's say, 9,300. Well, what we sneaky people end up doing again is shifting. But by bringing that RPM level down, we brought it back. So what they did this week at Charlotte was they came around and says, look, put a 389 gear in the rear end. What this enables us to do is leave it in fourth. We'll turn about 96, 9700, and we eliminate the need to shift, or rather the ability to shift, because there'll be too many RPMs in third. NASCAR saved itself there by making this new rule. Look, we know we've thrown a lot of talk to you about gears and RPMs and everything else. NASCAR has a tough job keeping us in the box and keep everything regulated, which they do a good job. But if it was booty car racing, I'd just turn so many RPMs that your ears would bleed. Leave it at that.
And that is why they have a gear rule, Booty. Think back to Ryan Newman. Ryan Newman was here with the Penske. These engine builders are geniuses. these motors would be turning 11 and 12,000 RPMs, and they could do it. And that cost way more money than the gear rule. The gear rule is a good rule. I know some of these guys don't like it, but I think NASCAR is doing the right thing because trying to control cost, we have to keep the cost down. The gear rule does that, and I think it's a benefit to all the competitors, Kenny.
And we need to be stopped. We cannot control ourselves. If they
just said it.
if they don't close the garage area at 5 o'clock, we would stay till 8. So it's the way it is. It's the same for everybody.
Good point.
Now, you can't say this very often, but right now the number 48 team and driver Jimmie Johnson are struggling. Or are they really? It depends on how you look at it. We'll explain when we come back to NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot.
Is the drive for 5 stalling before it begins? Jimmy's rough patch has him tail spinning down the standings. We'll show you the 48 struggles and let you know if he'll right the ship before it's too late. Straight ahead, NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot.
Welcome back to Pocono Raceway, where we are getting set for a 1 p.m. start here, and hopefully the rain will stay away from the Pocono Raceway as we look at the Bill France Tower. The fans have filed into the infield as they get a good sneak peek at the garage area here in Pocono. A little bit different than most racetracks, but that's what's different about Pocono. It's the tricky triangle, 3 very unique turns. Your car has to be set up for all 3 of these turns, have a lot of horsepower. And who had the horsepower last week? It was Kurt Busch in victory lane 2 weeks in a row at Charlotte Motor Speedway following that all-star win. However, for Jimmie Johnson, the troubles continued. He fell again in the point standings after another heartbreak finish for Jimmie Johnson and the 48 team in what used to be called his house. And whose house was it this weekend? Well, it's been Kyle Busch's pole run has been fast all weekend for Joe Gibbs Racing, and we know he is going to be a factor today here at the Tricky Triangle Pocono Raceway, Long Pond, Pennsylvania, one of the best areas of the country that we come to. And Hermie Sadler and I are located behind Victory Lane on this second level. And Hermie, it seems like it's been a busy morning thus far, but we have a lot of action yet to take place.
Yeah, I mean, the crews are business as usual. Cars going through the inspection line and getting ready for 500 miles of racing today. A very long race, a very grueling race, very demanding on the car, drivetrain, and the driver. So these guys have really got to be prepared because, as we've talked about, the point standings are very, very tight. Every position matters.
And if we take a look at those points and looking how tight they are, of course, Kevin Harvick comes into Pocono as our points leader with a 29-point lead over Kyle Busch.
Yeah, look down towards the bottom of the top 12, Wendy. Greg Biffle drops to 9th. Carl Edwards drops 1 spot to 11th. The Roush Fenway cars have yet to get to victory lane this year. They need to turn that around very soon.
And Ryan Newman made his way in the top 12 with their good finish at Charlotte Motor Speedway, but there are some other players back there.
Yeah, look down at the bottom of this list too, Wendy. Joey Logano, David Rudiman, Juan Pablo Montoya all have the teams capable of getting back in this chase, but they've got to start turning it around today.
And one of the reasons why it's been busy in the garage is because of the talk of rain and whether or not it's going to hit us today at Pocono. Well, one thing's for sure, Jimmie Johnson and the 48 team, are they in a slump? That's been the big question in the garage area. In 2008 and 2009 combined, they only had 2 DNFs. In 2010, they already have 3, an average finish of 26th in the last 5 races. And while they don't want to take a look back at the season, let's take a look at what's happened to the 48 car since the Daytona 500.
For the reigning Sprint Cup champion, 2010 started out with disappointment and a DNF on NASCAR's biggest stage.
Jimmie Johnson is off the pace on the back straightaway. Problems for the Lowe's Chevrolet. He's fallen all the way to the back of the pack.
I'm thinking it might be the rear end, man. I've got something weird going on. I don't know if it's a tire. I don't think it is.
All right, take her to the garage.
Jimmie Johnson out of the Lowe's Home Improvement Chevrolet. A disappointing day, denied a victory in the Daytona 500.
Jimmie left Daytona behind with 3 wins and 3 more top 10s and looked to be on track for another dominating season. But Superman suddenly looked human while getting derailed at Talladega.
And whoa, around goes Jimmie Johnson. He'll take Greg Biffle. Johnson and Biffle around off the end of the back straightaway. Johnson with hard contact.
Well, we're done.
At Darlington, the hits kept a-coming. Jimmy's night was already a struggle and ended with the 48 being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Now there's a spin. Allmendinger catches Jimmy Johnson. A hard shot into the outside turn 3 wall.
Caution's out. Caution's out. Caution's out. It's over in 2. Another wreck in 4. Maybe we finally killed the 48 tonight.
Jimmy Johnson's night just got a bit worse here at the track. Too tough to tame.
You okay? Yeah, knocked some wind out of me.
It has been a rough ride for this 48 team, honestly, whether it's coincidental or not, since we went to this rear spoiler.
Unfortunate. I mean, we had all kinds of issues tonight. Got caught up in a lot of little small things, but still had a very fast race car, and I think we could have salvaged a top 10, top 5 today.
And instead of returning to championship form as hoped at Charlotte, the house that Jimmy built started crumbling around him.
The last thing we want to do is give that 48 a second chance, and he's got his second chance.
Get it. But catch your breath, bud. You got plenty of time.
Around goes Johnson. Jimmy will spin to the infield pass, sliding down to the inside of the racetrack.
Wrecking behind you. Wrecking behind you. Caution's out. Yeah, it's overheating already. Come see now. Oh, yeah, we're done, dude. Well, sorry, guys.
There's trouble here at Charlotte in turn number 2.
We're wrecked, guys.
It has been a rough 2 weeks for Jimmy Johnson at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
So Jimmy Johnson, who had struggled early on after having contact with the wall, having a very un-Jimmy Johnson night, crashes along the backstretch. So Jimmy Johnson's hope of turning around what has been a little bit of a slump coming into this race has ended with a crumpled Lowe's Chevrolet along the backstretch.
And if it seems some media members want to kick you while you're down, this is what Jimmy Johnson had to say in the media center on Friday.
I just feel that from my own experience here the last few weeks, I've probably been trying too hard. I've been trying to have the car on the loose side and pushing hard to make sure that the car didn't get tight on me. I do not like a tight race car, and I've probably compromised, the comfort of the car and how to drive a car for 600 miles by pushing that envelope and by attacking really hard from my standpoint as a driver. So I think I'm in a place where I need to slow down to go fast type thing. I mean, our cars, we've been competitive. We won early. We haven't been maybe the dominant car, the fastest car week in and week out, but we've been a top 5 car. And I think I've been trying to bridge that gap and trying to make the difference up on my own. And I need to stop doing that. And really need to just focus on getting what I can that given day, take that finish and build on that performance so that Chad and our engineers can continue to make the cars better and better and better instead of me stepping over the line and making a mistake and costing us.
That's an interesting perspective from our 4-time champion, Hermie, and I just am hard convinced that they really are in a slump. I think it's going to take more races for us to figure it out.
Guess what? They're human. They make mistakes. And if you listen to what the people in the garage would say, Jimmy can't drive anymore. Chad can't crew chief anymore. Jimmy and Chad don't like each other anymore. But guess what? If the chase started today, they would be tied for first in the point standings with 3 wins. They're going through a time that we haven't seen in the last 3 or 4 years, but the same thing that helped them get to that point will be what will help them, come back and be in contention again by the time we get to the chase, in my opinion. But I want to get the opinion of Mr. Excitement, Jimmy Spencer. Jimmy, you had some strong opinions on this 48 team on Race Herb early this week. What do you think? What's the deal with the 48 in your opinion?
Well, I don't have my crying towel, but but Jimmy said it best on Friday. He said that he's trying too hard. Think back, Dover, Delaware. He has a car that's going to win a race. He tries too hard to beat the 18. He ends up gets caught for speeding. He wasn't that strong at Richmond. He runs into his own teammate at Texas, very uncharacteristic of Jimmy. And for him to come to Charlotte and spin out by himself, not once, twice, but 3 times, to me, mistakes. Is it the team? Yes. The whole team's making mistakes, mostly Jimmy Johnson. And that is where they capitalized on in the past. They stopped making mistakes, they'll win their 5th championship. But until that day comes, they have to quit making these mistakes. They have to start here today at Pocono.
Even making mistakes, though, the team still, like Hermie said, has 3 victories. They'd be tied for first to win to the chase right now. But also, they're still 7th in points, Kenny Wallace. There's still no real danger. I'm not seeing slump. I'm not saying it.
Look, we've all been in racing our whole life. I just don't see this as a big deal because I'm in the garage area. Now, maybe on the outside, but look, race fans, you cannot You know how hard it is to keep up total domination for 5 straight years? Look at the Yankees. Look at the Detroit Red Wings. I mean, to win 5 in a row, this is merely a little blip, and I believe everything Jimmy Johnson said. He could have not said it any better. The car right now is a top 10 car. Jimmy's used to run up front. He's driving. He's overdriving, and I agree with what Jimmy Johnson said. He said it perfectly. Take your car and get your finishes and get it better.
Now, here's an interesting side note about that team that came up this week. They have tagged Eric Almirola to fill in for Jimmy Johnson if he has to go back for the birth of his daughter. Mr. Hendrick and also Chad Knaus have said to Jimmy, there's no way you're missing the birth of your daughter. Now,
that's awesome.
The child is supposed to be, the child's supposed to be born on the off weekend. But say that doesn't happen, say she doesn't come at the right time, well, Eric Almirola is there to fill in.
Well, they're picking a good choice, but I admire Jimmy Johnson for doing this, Mr. Hendrick and Chad, the whole team supporting Jimmy. Nothing like watching your baby being born. But Jimmy Johnson is not used to the 18 running consistently strong, the 2-car. All these guys running strong. Also the Childress camp. There's a lot of pressure being put on that team by the other teams. They've caught up to them. And I don't think that they're used to that. And I think that's what Jimmy said. He's going over the edge. If he gets that thing back, he's going to be tough, Kenny.
You know, Jimmy Johnson said, I'm going to be with my wife, Shani, to have our first child. Let me tell you why. If you're trying to win your first cup race, you don't know nobody. You're like a horse with blinders on. I'm trying to win my first championship. But what makes this decision easier for Jimmy Johnson to be there with the birth of his child, even if you have to miss a race, is because he's a 4-time champion.
I still admire him for it, though, Kenny.
Absolutely.
I still admire him
these
for it.
guys
Good
are
job.
great when it comes to the chase. They've been no one close to them over the past 4 years. So this team is definitely still well in championship contention. When we come back, we'll have the driver that mastered this place as a rookie. Stay with us, everybody. Race fans, you can play along with us on the Speed Fantasy Racing game, and here are the standings right now. The Camping World Truck Series has a team, Trackside has a team, Race Hub has a team, and Race Day has a team, but we're not doing well right now. 182 points after the first week, and fans, you can play along with us, set up your own team, and compete against us. Now, these are the guys we are hoping brings Team Race Day up to the forefront. Our pick from the A group, top 12 in points, is Jeff Gordon. From 12 to 31 in points is Dale Earnhardt Jr. Outside of that is Regan Smith in our C group. We are hoping that this group brings us back into contention in the Speed Fantasy Racing standings. Now, one guy who is always up in the standings, no matter where or when he's driving, is the number 11 driver, Denny Hamlin. He swept this racetrack as a rookie, and he was the last driver to do that. His 3 wins here ranks him among the best in active drivers, and he's standing by with Hermie Sadler.
You're right, Johnny. Denny Hamlin took to this racetrack very first time. But before we talk racing, I got to talk basketball for a second. Craig Rust at Chicagoland Speedway made an offer to LeBron James. If he signed with Chicago Bulls, he would rename the racetrack LeBron James Speedway. And my question to you is, what kind of offer have you got for LeBron to sign with the Charlotte Bobcats?
Oh, we're going to have to talk to Michael Jordan about that. We need to dig deeper in our pockets, I think, is what we got to do around Charlotte to get him. But it's tough to say. I mean, that's an awesome offer, though. I like that. It's a way to get a guy in the city.
But if you think, if you and Michael Jordan and Bruton Smith all put their heads together, you would think something would happen. But let's talk some racing on a serious note. 3 wins at this racetrack, 3 wins this year. And I know you want to keep the momentum going and come into one of your better racetracks today.
Yeah, it is. You know, we just have a little bit of a pep in our step when we come to this racetrack. It just seems like we're always competitive one way or another, no matter how we practice. So it's good. We're starting up front, and that's a good step for us. And haven't gotten a pole since our rookie year here, but we've been really good. So I'm looking forward to it. For Gillette, the Pro Glide 500, that's going to be the first time for them sponsoring this race. It's you know, pretty awesome weekend. Hopefully we can get a clean shave in Victory Lane.
Well, talk about the weather. Obviously, rain could or could not be a factor, but either way, it's going to be a little bit cooler today than it was in practice yesterday. Any kind of concerns you have about that?
Well, our FedEx Freight car was, you know, pretty good during practice, both in the sun and the shade, and we had quite a bit of it during practice. It was about half and half. So we felt like if anything, our car was a little bit better when it was cloudy. So, you know, I'm up for racing in these conditions right here.
And y'all 3 of your teammates, or 2 of your teammates, all got good cars this weekend. It seems like all of Joe Gibbs Racing kind of, pulling together as a group and are really closing the gap on some of the guys you've been chasing in recent years?
Well, that's what's gotten us to this point, is working together and figuring out what we need to do to be better. Joey, I feel like, has taken big strides over the course of just this weekend, and Kyle has obviously learned a lot, him and his crew chief, from what our 11 team has done here in the past. So they were able to apply it a little bit better in qualifying, are able to get that little bit extra speed that we can't seem to find. And but in race trim, I felt like we were pretty strong. So we'll see how it all plays out. But the bottom line is teamwork's what got us, is one of the few favorites right now.
Well, these guys definitely got it together. They always have feel like they got a little something going on when they come to Pocono, and these guys will be in play today and maybe get victory number 4 at Pocono for Denny Hamlin. JR?
Hermie, thanks a lot. Denny Hamlin's teammate Kyle Busch had a great come-from-behind run to get a top 5 finish at the Charlotte Motor Speedway in the Coke 600. But afterwards, he was, he got all his notoriety for this run-in with veteran driver Jeff Burton. Burton was not too happy with Kyle on the restart, and later we figured out that Kyle had a piece protruding from his car, and that's actually what cut down Jeff Burton's tire. Let's hear what they had to say in the media center this weekend.
I was just pissed off, man. I wouldn't go any further than that. I was just pissed off, and I had 15 laps or whatever it was to get calmed down, and I didn't. And and I felt like I needed to handle it and address it right then. And but I was just mad. I mean, and it's no more complicated than that.
He says there's no need to talk. So to me, it's about going out there and doing the same thing I felt like I've always done. And until seeing a little bit more of the replay and until seeing my car after the race, I had no idea how I touched him or cut his left rear tire down. But after the race, there's a 4-inch piece of my car sticking out wider than it normally is. It was like a tire spear from the repairs that my guys did on the car. And that's what got into his tire. And I had no idea my car was 4 inches wider than what it was. But that's no excuse for what happened. Just didn't know that was out there. But it was unfortunate for him and those guys. They had a solid run going. I hate it that they didn't get a good finish that they deserved.
I really don't want to keep reliving it. It is what it is. It's over, and we'll just need to go racing.
Race fans, this is what you all wanted. NASCAR announced, take the gloves off. They took the gloves off. The only thing missing for higher TV ratings and to make you all happy, they needed to get into a good little fight right there, Spence, like the good old days. Listen, we are back. There's no way that nobody can say NASCAR is at its highest right now. We got double file restarts. We're finishing races under the checkered flag. We got fighting. We got mouthing. Everybody's like, man, I don't like you. You wrecked me. So get over it.
The thing that I like about that scenario, Jeff Burton said it's over. That's a classy guy. He knows he didn't intend it. Kyle Busch didn't intend it. But thanks God for Kyle Busch. I've been in this sport a long time. I've seen some of the greats. I have never in my life seen a guy that could make something happen on every single restart, and it's Kyle Busch. Thank you, Kyle, for making the racing exciting. I love you, baby. And the thing is that keep it up, because that's going to win him a championship. That aggressiveness, to me, pays off. It paid off last week at Charlotte.
Quickly, our gentlemen drivers are Mark Martin and Jeff Burton. And then you have the aggressive drivers. Yin and yang, baby. 2 different people. Yeah.
All right. 2 very different people there, and 2 very different people up here as well. We got to take a quick break, but when we come back, they call him the Rocket Man, and he is a championship contender. Stop that, Kenny. He's a championship contender right now. He had a lot of coffee. Top 12. He'll join us when we come back.
We're halfway to Richmond, and while there aren't any surprises sitting in the top 12, there are some big names outside the chase looking in. We'll show you how the ever-changing postseason picture is coming into focus. Heading your way, NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot.
Speed into Father's Day at Infineon Raceway in Sonoma for the Toyota Save Mart 350. Visit the speed stage all weekend long and sign up to win the ultimate Father's Day race package. You could win the chance to watch the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series race from the pits and much, much more. Just go to speed.com, keyword promo, for more information. Casey Kane was the big winner there last year, and right now teams like the number 56, driven by Martin Truex Jr., are on the outside but knocking on the door at the top 12. For them to get in, somebody has to fall out, and we are running out of time to make the chase.
All right, guys, let's have our A game today. Every position means something. The race for the chase starts right now.
Halfway through the 2010 regular season, and the driver hoisting up that championship trophy at Homestead in November is anyone's guess. Competition is closer than ever, and every point matters.
Attaboy, go get us 5 points, man.
As it stands, Kevin Harvick currently leads the sprint to the Cup and has been atop the standings twice for a total of 8 weeks.
Here comes Kevin Harvick diving to the inside, and he's going to pick it off. The 2007 winner of the Daytona 500 will win today at Talladega Superspeedway.
Hell of a job, buddy. One hell of a job. Woo!
Kyle's in second, just 29 points back. Rowdy's running hot with 2 wins and 5 more top 10s over the last 7 races.
Kyle Busch taking everybody to the woodshed this afternoon, showing them how it's done and showing them how to tame the Monster Mile here in Delaware.
Beautifully done, guys. Nice work. That's the way to do it. Woo-hoo! We suckered them on that one.
Still looking for their first wins of the year are Matt Kenseth and Jeff Gordon, who are running 3rd and 4th respectively. Both are former Cup champions and have been averaging close to a top 10 finish so far. A victory for either is surely not too far off.
Come to damn win. 3rd ain't worth the damn.
Monopolizing wins this season are Denny Hamlin, Kurt Busch, and Jimmy Johnson.
Jimmy Johnson takes the checkered flag in the Shelby American here in Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
With 8 wins between them, if things continue as is, they'll be fighting for the top spot when the points reset and the chase is on.
All we do is win.
And while each has their streak, Kurt's got the momentum,
The nurse is back.
earning a cool $1 million at the All-Star race and jumping up 3 spots after dominating the 600.
Awesome work. Somebody better get the brooms out, because we just made a clean sweep of their checkbook, boys, 2 weeks in a row. That week, Kurt Busch. You're the man, total domination.
The rest of the top 12 are Chase mainstays,
Good lap, leader at 6.
each driver ready and willing to unseat the 4-time champ and earn their first Cup championship in 2010. With plenty of season left, and quality drivers on the outside looking in, the leaderboard could look quite different come chase time.
And as we are officially now past that halfway point to the chase, Ryan Newman is now in the top 12, the highest points position that you've had for 2010. Does it make a difference this early in the season?
It makes a difference, but it's not where we want to be. So ultimately, we'd obviously like to be up a little bit more secure, but we've worked on it. We've came from last, basically, 2 DNFs to start the season to be where we're at now. So really proud of the guys and the, excuse me, the entire team effort that's gone and taken place to get to this point, but we just got to keep that momentum rolling.
Now, you've won here from the pole at Pocono in 2003. You almost got another win in 2007, so you know how to get around this track. What do you like about it, and what's the key to that?
Well, it's so unique. I mean, it's the most unique racetrack that I think there is whatever was built, not just in the Sprint Cup Series. So it's a lot of fun from a driver's standpoint to kind of make up and manipulate the race car. You know, all 3 different corners make 6, and all 3 straightaways are different lengths, and the corners are different banks. It's really unique, so it's a lot of fun.
Okay, people like to say that if you run well at Pocono, it might be an indicator later on in the summer when we get to Indianapolis. How do you feel about that? Does that give you some extra confidence for the Brickyard later on in the year?
Usually, if you run well at Pocono, that's one thing, but if you can really get through the tunnel turn, that's kind of what dictates your speed at Indy, because that corner is the most similar corner of all the racetracks we go to Indianapolis is 4 corners. So yeah, it'd be nice to run well here and have some momentum going into Indy for sure.
All right, well, good luck today and possibly at the Brickyard when we go later on in this summer. Let's head back over to Johnny.
Wendy, thanks a lot. Let's face it, if you're outside of the chase for the last 10 races of the season, you're a second-class citizen. And right now, positions 10 through 19 are separated by a mere 200 points. So, guys, who's in, who's out, who's in trouble, who's strong?
Oh, Spence, you're letting me go first.
I'll go.
Well,
Spence is ready for this one, man.
Because you're going to choose somebody. Here's what I have to say. Too close to call. I'm not wimping out.
Yeah, you're wimping, Kenny.
I do wimp out on this, and I'll tell you why, guys. Because this 12th position, the final one to run for the championship, always comes down to the last lap at Richmond. I can't pick. The one who has the least mistakes, Jimmy.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Jimmy's not going to wimp out. He's going to give us names.
Darn right. I agree with you. The least mistakes. You see in the 48, he's lost 230 points in 4 races. You could very easily gain 230 points. Mistakes, Kenny, you're so right. But I think David Rudiman, I look over the year, I like his crew chief, Rodney Childers. This guy at Charlotte, just really, really strong. I don't think Truex can get back in there. The thing I look at also, I don't think the Hendrick cars are running that strong. That being the 14 car Stewart, who was first last year. He's currently 16th in the points. Newman was 5th last year. He's currently 12th. I don't think they get their information from Hendrick. Mark Martin. These guys are not as strong as they need to be. I think they're going to fall out. I think McMurray, that crew with Bono, is really gelling right now, and so is the 0-0. So I think those 2 guys are getting in. I don't think Casey Kane's going to get in. These guys, I love these guys, but that's my picks.
If David Rudiman and company is going to get in the chase right now, they're going to have to gain 213 points over these last few races, and they can do it.
They can, and I'll tell you why, Johnny. They were top 5 2 or 3 times this year and had engine failures. And to me, Kenny, when you have engine failures, once again, mistakes, you're right. That will cost you. So they got to have the mistake free the rest of this year.
And the last thing I have to say about this, whoever gets in is going to kick a hero out. We always end up with heroes on the outside looking in. There are a lot more winners in this sport now, Spence. I don't think we're looking for talent. There's 28 winners in the Cup Series now.
The thing is, fans, this is absolutely the best thing that's happened to our sport in years, this chase. Absolutely phenomenal.
And if you're not in, you're a second-class citizen. We got to take a quick break, but when we come back, Chip Ganassi had a historic double-win season so far. One of the drivers involved in that will join us next on Race Day.
One guy who's sorry to see Charlotte pass is Jamie Mack. Not only did he finish second last weekend, he also gave Ganassi 1/2 of his historic 500 feet earlier this year. He'll stop by to chat about his season so far at EGR's Big Sunday. Coming at you, NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot.
Still out. Checkered flag in the air. The 52nd Daytona 500 to Jamie McMurray.
With Jamie McMurray winning the Daytona 500 and Dario Franchitti winning the Indy 500, it meant the first time that one owner has won those 2 prestigious races in the same season. That owner is Chip Ganassi, and he came darn close to adding a Coke 600 victory on that day in May. And Hermie Sadler is standing by with driver number 1, who is knocking on the door again. Hermie?
He really is. Jamie McMurray, a great season so far. Go ahead, swig your Coke there. Get some chug points for us. But, hey, before we talk about Charlotte, last Monday morning after Charlotte, you went to Indianapolis, took a pretty cool photo out with you and Dario Franchitti. Pretty awesome that Chip Ganassi has won the Daytona 500 and the Indianapolis 500 in the same year.
Yeah, that was really special to get to go up there. We talked about maybe doing that before, but we didn't really want to jinx if Dario or Scott were going to be able to win that race. But it was really exciting to go up there and really to see those 2 trophies side by side and to know what a special moment that was for Chip Ganassi and all of his employees, everybody that's a part of getting us to Victory Lane. That was fun.
And talk about you running the Coca-Cola 600. I know it was a great run for you guys, finished second, but that close to getting back to the place that you won your first race at, that would have been pretty cool for you.
Yeah, I saw Roger Penske when I went to the garage today, and he's like, that would have killed me if you would have won if Chip would have been able to win both those races in the same day. And we came really close. We had a really fast car last Sunday. Our cars have been good all year long. Certainly we haven't gotten all the good finishes, but we've had top 5 cars about every race. So hopefully this has not been a good track for me. And our car has really good speed this weekend. But my struggle at Pocono hasn't really been about being able to run the lap times. It's been about racing here and how you race. And I haven't done a very good job of that. So I'm hoping today I can do a better job for the guys.
And lastly, before we let you go, even though you didn't win the 600, winning the Daytona 500 and being a part of such a historic double for your car owner, that's something that will always be with you, regardless of what else happens in your career. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and when they asked me, we talked about going up to Indy, and at 11:30 we were still at the racetrack Sunday night, and they're like, we're going to leave at 7 a.m. or whatever. I was like, all right. And when my alarm went off at 5:30 or 6 that morning to get up and get ready to head up there, I was having second thoughts. But honestly, anyone who's ever seen the pictures of the Indy 500 and they bring the car out there, and it's a very professional photo shot. It's not necessarily just like a victory lane. It was exciting for me to get to go and just see Dario and how excited he was, because even though we ran second the night before, we were excited to see Dario and Ashley and how excited they were. It was fun to get to share that with all of them.
And one piece of bad news potentially before we let you go. John Roberts picked you to win today in his fantasy pick. So
not good, is it? Yeah, I watch race day a lot, and I don't think you ever want to be someone who gets picked.
I'm not even sure I want to answer that one, guys.
I love it. But hey, Hermie, tell Jamie though that appearing on race day is one way to guarantee a win. The winner always appears on race day.
My astute colleague JR is now telling me that appearing on race day is a good way to get to victory lane. However, Kurt did it last week, and maybe you can do it today.
Well, I hope so. Our McDonald Chevrolet has plenty of speed in it, and Bono did a good job adjusting on it. But this race, with the way the wave around works and the way you can pit and not go a lap down, a lot can happen here. So really, for us, this is one of those tracks that you want to finish in the top 10 and get away here with just a good result.
And I'll let you know if it rains. If I need a ride home, I'll call you guys.
You call me.
But I want to be fed this time, JR.
All right, good deal. Now, it's sort of like the opposite of the SI jinx. It's the race day non-jinx. You appear on race day, you win the race, right? Jamie was on before the 500. There's facts there, but there's also facts here. Jamie McMurray's only 26 points. In 15th, he's only 26 out of the top 12. This guy can easily make it, and he can easily win today.
The thing that Jamie said it best is that he's had a top 5 car. He's made a lot of mistakes. The last 5 or 6 races, hey, I got on him. He has made think back to Vegas. He took out his, teammate, Montoya. He's not made the mistakes right now, Kenny. They're on a roll.
And how big was that day, though, for Chip Ganassi, winning those 2 races in the same season, the Daytona 500 and the Indy 500?
Oh, my gosh, what a photo shot. That gave me chills. Did you see that photo? I mean, the Brickyard, listen to me. I'm a NASCAR guy. The Indy 500 and the Daytona 500 for one car owner, that can only be a dream for that man right there, Chip Ganassi. That is a dream come true. If that was a race car driver, I mean, I don't know if there's anything else you can do. I mean, really, Chip Ganassi has done everything there is to do right now in 1 year to win the Indy 500, Daytona 500. Awesome, awesome.
And you know the neat thing, you see Chip right there getting ready to the champagne. He has sprayed a lot of champagne, but the sport needs guys like Chip Ganassi. They're racers. Roger Penske, racers. Rick Hendrick. That's what makes our sport and racing in general strong. So it's a good weekend for Chip.
And let's remember how many people had Jamie McMurray and Chip Ganassi out of the racing business last year. The rumors were all over the place that Jamie wasn't going to have a ride and Chip wasn't going to have a team.
There's an old saying in the garage area that goes, oh, the driver learned how to drive. Remember, Jamie McMurray was, second, third, fourth, fifth fiddle, actually, because he could not stay at Roush Racing because of them having to go with the 4 cars. And Jamie McMurray did not have a ride at the last race last year. Now he's a hero. So never count a driver out until you know what kind of equipment he is in.
He made the right date.
Yes, exactly. And never count your favorite driver out here at Pocono. You know what can happen here. You can come from the back of the pack to win. You can go a lap down and make it back up. So anything can and will happen here at Pocono. And driver number 20 will tell us how he plans to get it done when we get back.
Next week, the boys head to the Great Lakes State as rubber meets pavement in the Motor City. And when these 43 get together, the only question is, who's spraying bubbly under that sunny northern sky? Live from Michigan, NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot.
The formation of the Lehigh Valley Railroad in the 1850s brought prosperity to this area as it carried coal and other goods to market and promoted the area as an excursion destination. If you come down here for the race, you can also ride the train today and experience some of the beautiful countryside of the Pocono area. And it is also very easy to get derailed as a young driver driving on the Pocono Raceway. It has long straightaways and difficult turns. So now our good friend Joey Logano is going to take us on a Home Depot hot lap around the Pocono Raceway. Take it away, Joey.
Hey, I'm Joey Logano, and this is your Home Depot Hot Lap. This week we're at Pocono, a very, very different racetrack compared to anything else we go to. For me, not having much experience here, it makes it real tough. As any rookie or someone that doesn't have a lot of laps here, it's very different. Lucky for me, I have Denny Hamlin that's as a teammate that's really won a lot of races here and is really good here. So I was able to pick his brain a lot, followed him in practice, seeing what he looks for in his race car, and this is a tough place. So to have a guy like that can help you out really helps us out a lot here at the Home Depot team. Another thing that's tough about this place is every corner is different. So it's a tough balance trying to get your car good in 1, 2, and 3 through these places. So long straightaways, that's another big thing. Getting off these corners, the straightaways are so long that you can be 3-4 tenths off just because you need to get off the corner good. So it's all about corner exit here at Pocono, and that's your Home Depot Hot Lap.
Thank you, Joey. Let's hop aboard the car of defending race winner Tony Stewart. And drivers, take us around this place. Come on, Spence.
Well, it's so easy, fans, as you look this straightaway. It's hard to believe, Kenny. You know, look how long. You're holding that thing wide open. Now you're coming into this corner. Heavy braking. Do you go to the bottom? Do you stay in the top? You'll have a lot of choices, Kenny, through this corner.
Yeah, and down the legendary Long Pond straightaway. Now, I want you to listen to his throttle. The most dangerous corner in auto racing coming up. Are you ready? Here we go.
That's part throttle, fans.
Now, what was dangerous is that's a curve, Jimmy Spencer, as we enter the last corner.
And you know, Kenny, you bring a good point up. He picked the throttle up way before the apex. Why? Joey said it best. You got to get off these corners. And this is the most critical corner to get off of. This corner here, head to this 5,687-mile straightaway. it's like
seems that long, doesn't it?
It's forever. And the thing is, fans, that's what makes Pocono unique. Pocono is very unique because you saw that from Tony's car and you heard it from Joey. 3 different corners, 3 just all together. You can go high, you can go low, a lot of braking, a lot of momentum, just a lot of different angles at this racetrack.
But the bottom line, race car drivers and race fans, is here's what the driver does down the straightaway, this long one. Wow! Ah! It's 215 mile an hour when you let off the gas. It's out of hand.
Now, this term comes up a lot these days because of this car. You want to kind of make it a little cockeyed and maybe crabbing down the...
I like crab cakes.
Yeah, I like crab cakes, too. I make good crab cakes, by the way. But crabbing of the car is a way to make it go faster. You see the back end kind of towed out a little bit, Jimmy.
Oh, I thought it was just that he hit the wall or something.
Nope.
Now, that crabbing means that the rear end is not square, and they're doing that for for side force for these cars so the drivers can go through the corners faster.
Okay, we created this name crabbing, I think Darrell Waltrip, but it's called the car's going sideways. That's the true term. The car's going sideways down the straightaway, and that's really what's going on. Crabbing is something you will not see in the dictionary. It'll come up fishing.
And you know the thing about this track, get back to that, the drivers that don't appreciate this racetrack, they don't have success here. Tony Stewart likes it, Juan Pablo, you hear Jeff Gordon. A lot of these guys have had success here because they like the challenge. That's the thing about this racetrack. And you heard Jamie say, I don't mind the racetrack, I don't know how to race here. So Joey said, a lot of guys. That's the key to Pocono. You've got to look forward to coming here. Very, very challenging racetrack.
And one thing we do know about the crabbing, if your car doesn't handle right, your driver will be crabby.
Absolutely.
All day long.
And the hits just keep coming, Johnny.
We better take a break,
We'll be playing tonight at the Comedy Zone.
We're going to take a quick break here on NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot. When we come back, we'll update you on the weather situation and also get you back down in the garage area for the latest news. Stay with us.
NASCAR Race Day is built by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Brought to you in part by Tornadoes. Bold is how we roll. And by the new Ford Fiesta. It's a pretty big deal.
Twice a year, NASCAR's Top Series comes to one of the most scenic and most unusual racetracks on the circuit. The Pocono Raceway, with its 3 turns, provides a challenge to even the most veteran of driver. And this week, one of the up-and-coming veteran drivers, Kyle Busch, in the number 18, has the pole for the 2nd time this year, his first ever at this racetrack at Pocono. So Kyle will look to bounce back on a track that has not been kind to him over the years. The other Busch brother, Kurt, comes in with momentum on his side after taking all of the gold out of Charlotte. Jimmy Johnson has slipped over the last 4 races, some 200 points to the leader. And that leader is none other than Happy Kevin Harvick, who hopes to hold on to the points lead. He will start 22nd. That is back in the pack, but that's a place that he has come to the front from for the past couple of races. There is nothing quite like racing at Pocono. 3 turns, they're all different, and anything can and will happen when you race on this track in Long Pond, Pennsylvania. We're looking at the skies right now as we see some cloud cover over top. We hope that blows away quickly. Kevin Harvick is on top by 29 points. Matt Kenseth 117 back. Then it's Gordon and Hamlin. Guys, that is your top 5 for now.
And you know, the thing is here's Matt Kenseth sitting 3rd, Kenny, and you know, you've got Greg Biffle and Carl Edwards, all 3 Fords, but none of them have won this year, and none of them have really showed that they can.
You must first finish to finish first, and that's what points racing is about. Some of these guys down here, Martin Truex blew a lot of motors early in the year.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting, guys? Look at this. 4 points, 14, 26, 27. This is cool, man. This, now, hang on a minute, fans. 13 through 20, they're not in, and they're less points. 1, 2, 3 positions is going to be critical to get in.
It's windy out here.
It is getting windy.
Yeah,
so let's
that's
go
blowing the rain out.
It's getting windy, so let's go to Wendy.
Yeah.
At this time, it was standing by with a guy who had a heck of a qualifying effort. Wendy?
He sure did. That was 20th for Max Pappas. Max, the best qualifying effort for you for 2010. What was it that made you get around this place so quickly?
You know, first of all, I need to say thanks to Mark Gibson. You know, he helped me, you know, with his ARCA car. I was able to run a few laps in his car, and, you know, thanks, Mark. It was great help. And, you know, I just, you know, as I said, you know, we got on our knees, you know, we missed a couple of races, and, you know, when people put me down, the best things I can do for me is like climb back up, find the strength, you know, work with Booty, and we proved again that we can do it. You know, it's just a matter of time. You know, sometimes in a position like I am, you need to be allowed, you know, to make some mistakes, not just on my part, but on everyone, and you know, recover out of it. And that's part of the learning curve of a guy who has done so far, you know, 24 NASCAR starts.
So does it feel good though to have a good qualifying effort and be prepared for this race more so than others?
You know, like yesterday. You know, our Geico car was not as competitive as we wanted in the race pace, and we spoke a lot with Booty, so we hope that we can make it better. I just want to try not to go, you know, backwards and to stay where I am, you know, but I have fierce competitors around me. So I think that the goal is going to be, you know, trying to make the best of what you can, you know, do it every lap, you know, dig deep, and I know that we have a lot of abilities and we have a lot of will. So, you know, that should be enough.
And that you cannot take away from Max Pappas. Good luck to you, Max, who will start 20th today. Hermie?
Yeah, thanks, Wendy. Before we go off the air, we want to get a quick shout out to Brad Keselowski. Big win last night, and what a cool trophy. What are you going to do with that? You didn't break it up last night. What's wrong with you?
Nothing. That's the thing. A great weekend, great day so far for Penske Racing yesterday, and hopefully another great one here today. You know, Kurt's been running really well. Had a great weekend in Charlotte, and, you know, we want to go out there and just finish it off with a weekend sweep for Rogers. So it's been a lot of fun. Hopefully we'll have a good car here today in Pocono.
Well, he qualified pretty good today at Pocono, and, guys, he said he got back here got to bed at 4 o'clock this morning, so he's got 500 miles left to go, but he's young. He can handle it. Play us a tune as we go back to JR.
Yeah,
Hit it.
I don't know how to play it all.
Hey, at least he knows not to try to play if he can't play. Hermie, thanks a lot, and congratulations to Brad Keselowski. Let's take another look at the weather, what is coming up here, and it looks, well, 75 degrees, 15% chance of precipitation. I like the way those look. 10% chance and 10%. That means 90% chance that we are going to go racing all 500 miles here, and that's great news, Spence.
It is. I love Pocono, and I'll tell you what, fans, tune in to TNT, baby. You're going to see a great race. You're going to see a lot of excitement today, Kenny. I'm excited about Pocono.
No rain. They said 90% chance of rain at 8 o'clock, and we had no rain. Race fans, green flag, baby. Woo!
Green, 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 all 500 miles here at the Pocono Raceway. Want to thank everybody who joined us here on NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot. Congratulations to Kyle Busch, going to lead us to the green flag from the pole position. And once again, we have to thank the great race fans here in Pennsylvania for joining us at the speed stage. Also, we would like to remind you that you can join us tonight for NASCAR Victory Lane, fueled by Sunoco, and log on to speedtv.com for the latest information. And we'll have the winner tonight after the race. Join us then.